Hi, I'm Kristen,
And I'm Tony.
and this is Absolutely Stubborn.
Stubborn. So we have a topic. You want to get us started?
You always say that. Yeah, so I was just looking up some stuff, and I found like this little question of things to not be cheap on. Like, what should you not be cheap on? Because there are things you can.
So many things, huh?
Yeah, there's things you can go cheap on, and there's things that are like important. So, what are
Like
things that you would not go cheap on?
me?
Yeah.
Ooh, this came out of nowhere. um, I think it's good to be more of a minimalist. So to have less but have better quality of whatever you might have. So, for example, like have instead of cheaping out on a computer and getting like 4 crappy laptops in a period of 2 or
That's
4 years, having one good laptop that's going to last at least 4 years.
Yeah. I've had this one for, I don't even know how long now.
About 12 years.
It hasn't been that long, but I've had it for,
I think it's 2000.
when was it? 2008?
No, there's no way.
2010?
No, that was when you went to school. So 2000.
So bad with dates, guys.
12?
I don't even know when I graduated. So
2012,
bad.
give or take.
Okay, so
And
if
by
I
the
graduated in
way,
2012, so it's probably
Masters,
2011.
not high school.
Yes, masters. I do know when I
Trying to get away
graduated.
with that one.
I do know when I graduated high school. We won't go there. But yeah, so I've had this since like 2011, probably, give or take. So
Yeah, so it lasts. I mean,
Yeah.
but that's the point. You get something that's going to last. So there's tons of things that would. Okay, perfect example. So we just cut down on our. I mean, we always had like a pretty good deal when it came to TV. So we had a great deal with DirecTV Now, which is now called AT&T Now. We had it when it first started, $35 a month, and it had like 70 channels, and then over time it went up to 105. But realistically, you only watch. For us, I think we watched like 5 channels.
handful of them, yeah.
Yeah, sports, and even from those, it's just really ESPN for the fights.
Yeah, and even though we had Disney and stuff like that for the kids, they don't really ever
Yeah.
watch it at all. It's very rare that I put that on for them. They're usually watching PBS type shows or a movie, so or Netflix.
Right. So over time, that has gone up and up and up. And
Sorry, guys, I'm in a storm right now.
it's actually not that bad. So over time, the price of that has gone up and up and up from 35 to 40 to 45 to we were now paying 60 plus
More, no?
plus
this-
tax.
Oh, okay,
No,
yeah,
60
plus
plus
tax.
tax, 65. And it's not about being cheap. It's just about it bothers me at least to pay for something that we're not really using that much.
Yeah.
And before we were getting, before we had HBO and I think Cinemax was included. So even though we didn't see those
Or
that much,
Stars, one of those.
Either
HBO, even like a random channel like the CW, all of a sudden was not there. So, but yeah, there was channels that we weren't having anymore, and we just barely ever use it. It's very rare that I turn it on anymore. We watch either something on Netflix, we watch a movie, we watch podcasts on YouTube. So
really YouTube. For me, it's more documentaries, which is like Netflix. Anything educational, which I get a lot of from YouTube.
right.
YouTube, just it sucks to say, but well, not really. We love YouTube, but we're getting a lot of our content from YouTube, and I think that shows you how the world is changing. The only channels I'm going to miss are CNBC, Bloomberg, and even those I can get.
Right.
With our platform, we can get it. But the point is, it's not about being cheap. It's about trying to be smart with your money and not be wasteful in everything in life, but especially in finance and in money. There's so many things that it's easier to forget. And then you just kind of like, it's only $14 a month, and then you forget to cancel it.
But But it adds up. It adds up throughout
Yeah.
the year. It adds up every month. That $65, the way I look at it is that those $65 can go towards our groceries. So for me, it is a little hard to give it up because you have that, well, if I do want to tune in, or we are grandfathered into a certain price with how many channels we're getting because we've been with them for so long. But then I also look at it like, are we using it? No. So I'm literally throwing away $65 a month that can go towards groceries. That's just...
I mean, or anything.
No, I know, towards anything.
Retirement, it could go towards anything.
Towards anything, but I'm just saying, that's just the way I look at it, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, that's the way I've been seeing it. I mean, I've seen it that way for a long time, but especially lately, I've been trying to be just optimize a lot of things. So having, which I guess to the topic, having just less but better quality. So, for example, I wouldn't mind we were paying $60 plus tax for AT&T now for the plan that we had, but we only saw like 5 or 6 channels. I don't mind paying half of that for the 5 or 6
channels that you're going to watch.
I mean, it would be nice to have more than 5 or 6 channels.
Yeah.
But the point is, I don't mind paying a decent a la carte, I guess is what they say, like pay for what you use. Mm-hmm. You know, if you watch Food Network, ID channel, DIY or something else, I mean, for me, it makes sense to pay, let's say it's $2 a month per channel or $3 a month. But then it gets kind of funky, right? Because then it starts adding up, and I don't know. Point is that for me, my perspective, my point of view, I think it's better to have less, better quality, whether it's shoes, whether it's a car. You know, just try to get the best that you can afford. But before you even spend any money, try to make sure that you do need that. Do you really need to, for example, instead of getting a car, maybe if you don't live too far away from where you work, maybe it's not, like for example, we lived at one point in downtown and we never worked super close to walk. But maybe you could walk. Maybe you could take the subway. Maybe you could take a metro. Maybe you could take... It
depends where you live, though.
Of course.
Where we live, it's not very easy to even take the bus.
It might make sense to Uber because let's say that you can work remotely and you only have to go in a couple times. Let's say 3 to 4 times a week you have to go to the actual job site, to the office. So you might be able to save money by Ubering there, because not only do you save money on the actual loan of the car or the lease, but also on insurance. So it's kind of like you have to kind of see what works for you.
To see what, if you're trying to save money, what's the best approach in that area. There's all types of bills and stuff that we have as well. So, but I was calculating, we would save $780 a year by not having that service for our TV. And we have basic, channels 1 through 10 or something like that on our TV. So that's kind of all you need, really, at least for me.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we have Netflix. We also have Amazon Prime Now, and YouTube.
It all adds up. And with Spotify, we have Hulu.
Right.
So you really do have plenty
to choose from.
More stuff that we can cut down.
We probably could, but we're starting somewhere.
But no,
we're starting somewhere. That's a huge thing. So for me, things to not be cheap on and be a little more practical, because you went into like having a car and stuff, is toilet paper. Don't go cheap on toilet paper. I hate when I go to somebody's house
and use a sink,
and you feel like the toilet paper is sandpaper. I don't know, men, unless you're going number 2, don't have this issue, but us women have to wipe ourselves every time we go to the bathroom, and I want a good quality toilet paper. Spend $2 or $3 more on a freaking roll of toilet paper. Don't be cheap. That is one thing to not go cheap on. Like,
I guess.
Don't.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Well, I only notice it when it's like a restaurant, and they have those like 1-ply.
Right, but people buy that at their house.
I mean,
I've been to somebody's house, and it's no.
Is it 1
My,
ply when it's like not so
my
thick?
cousin got like free toilet. I don't remember. I would have to ask her where she got the toilet paper from, but she was like, "So are you picky about toilet paper?" And I'm like, I guess. Why? And she's like, because I have these rolls of toilet paper. Do you want them? I'm like, no. Me and her were on the same page. We were like, don't be cheap on toilet paper. We got into this whole rant. And my aunt was like, I'll take the free toilet paper. We're like, oh my God.
Well, I guess you could just double it up.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I wouldn't throw it away if it was given to me. I would use it. But if I'm buying, I am not buying cheap toilet paper. So
I didn't.
You're
think
welcome,
that was
babe.
Gonna go, I didn't think we were going to take it there. The toilet paper.
I just feel like that's like the first thing that pops in my head when it's like, don't be cheap on something. And it's the smallest thing, but those are the type of things that people are cheap on.
Oh, I have a good one. So you know how, and again, this all depends on budget and how everybody manages their money. But in my opinion, if you're going to go out and you're going to go to Disney World or something like that, or on vacation, the whole point is to be able to enjoy the vacation.
I agree.
So either you don't go on the trip if you're going to be stressing out about spending money, or you delay it until
Save
you have
enough
enough money where you're able to enjoy the trip. Because if
agree.
if you have to put the trip on credit cards and you have to stress out about buying this and this, and no, I don't want to go and get ice cream for the kids, or I don't want to go out for dinner, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You're not really enjoying a vacation.
Yeah,
So
agree.
I think things like that. We don't go out to eat very often, but when we do go out, I guess we go back to the same thing where we don't go crazy.
We'll go somewhere
for
that we
example,
can afford, where we're not going to be stressing out. We can't afford, what's on this
Well,
menu.
it's not even about affording. It's about it's like I don't even like ordering. I like ordering my food with water.
I think you said ordering.
Ordering. So if I'm going to go out and have a drink, I feel like that's the goal of it. For some reason, and this is just a personal thing, like I'm not a huge fan of having dinner and having a drink, like an actual like, cocktail or maybe
like
wine makes sense. But usually I just order water and food, and if we're going to have a drink, then we go somewhere to have a drink.
Right.
I feel like that's kind of like the...
Well, we've had a drink, like if it was, I want to say like Cinco de Mayo, and we went out to eat. We're like, oh, let's have a margarita. But we don't go to the purpose of like going to have drinks.
Yeah.
But I agree. I don't really care to have a drink with my food. I like to eat.
The money that we put towards the drinks, put it towards like a really good meal. So if you're gonna like, for example, go to Chili's to have I don't know how much are fajitas there, $12 or something.
I have no idea. We haven't been
I
there
don't
forever.
know how much they are now.
We haven't been there forever.
And order, like the drinks there. Yeah. In my opinion, it's better to put all that money and just go to a better restaurant. Not that Chili's is a bad restaurant, but just go and really...
Well, if you're going to have drinks. But then you have to look at it this way. So if you do want to have drinks, but you're on a budget, and Chili's happens...
Buy a bottle. Sneaking a bottle in the purse.
Chili's or whatever restaurant happens to have like a 2-for-1, something like that, and the menu is also affordable, then you're getting everything in one package. So it just depends on what the person wants and what they're looking for.
This is very personal. It's just
that's personal. You're like, I'd rather just not have drinks and have really good food.
Yeah.
I agree, because I love food.
Yeah.
So I rather have some really, really good food than have mediocre food just to have drinks. But that's,
Yeah.
That's how we feel.
And again, it's not even about the money itself. For me, it's more about always trying to get the best bang for my buck. At the end of the day, that's always how I like to make sure that I get that I feel that I get a good deal. You're never going to get the best deal in everything you do. I mean, I don't care if you're Donald Trump. You're never always going to have the best deal possible, because there's usually those guys that just like, I got a car, the lease. Oh, how much was even though you might have the same car, they're going to beat you because they got a better deal on the lease. Their house, even though they're living right next to you and it's the same square footage, it's a bigger lot. But it's not. It's literally
same.
in the city plans. The plot size is the same. No, it's bigger. Like, all right, dude.
Yeah, I just learned
there's always those
to
people.
argue with people, but that's a different subject. That's another podcast.
The compensation or whatever.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not about trying to to show off or impress. I just like to get the best that I can for my hard-earned money. Yeah. And whether that's a vehicle, whenever I need to get one, whether it's renovations to the house, whether it's going out to eat.
Well, so there's being cheap on stuff, and then there's also just not wanting to throw away money or being on a budget, or just learning to not overextend yourself. I feel like a lot of people want all the good stuff in life, great clothes, nice cars, a nice house, and then they're in debt. So yeah. I think it's just about really living within your means. Mm-hmm. And it's not really about being cheap, because sometimes you'll tell me like, oh, well, I'm not trying to be cheap. And I'll be like, you're not being cheap. I agree. Like, that's super expensive. So you're just trying to find another way to be able to get something without having to spend that huge expense on something that you don't really need right now.
Well, that's actually a good point, because we're actually going through this. We need to, not to get too technical, but we need to make a storage server. So yeah, we can buy the hard drives, but the hard drives add up, because we need several, and they're going to be pretty large. So it adds up to, if I buy it right now, you're looking at about, I think it's like $500 at least, which is not crazy. But if you're able to wait for a sale, which I am, right, we're probably going to be able to save at the very least $100, maybe $150. And if it's something that you need urgently, I get it, but we can wait. We can wait a month or two, and
see if it goes
on
sale.
Yeah, see if we get a sale, which usually, within a month or two, there should be something available. And if not, and you really need it, then you get it. But it's, I don't know. For me, it's bang for the buck. If I can save, I'll try to save.
Yeah.
Within reason.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not like we'll see if we have to find that post, that Reddit post of that lady that was super frugal.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, she was a little too frugal for me, but she did have some good pointers and some that we kind of already do. So that's definitely we have to look for that
but
post.
Wasn't she
was a great
actually
one.
Speaking of toilet paper, I think she used was it 2 plies and then
two plies and she folds it to clean
max.
herself, and that's the max. So I guess you get your hand wet when you pee. I don't know, or when you don't even want to know when you go number
Air
2.
dry.
Yeah, that was that's a little too much for me. Sometimes I think she did a couple things that were a little too frugal for me, but she had some good pointers and other aspects of what she did to minimalize her life.
But she was also single, no kids.
Yeah, which is totally different. When you're reading her article on the things that she did, I'm like, it's impossible with 1, 2, 3, 4 kids, depending how many kids you have. So it also depends on your situation and where you're at.
But to go back to being cheap, so the question was cheap and
things to not be cheap on. Like, don't be cheap on buying cheap toilet paper.
Yeah.
Don't be cheap on buying
good shoes.
Good shoes,
good clothes. I'd rather have less clothes, but better quality clothes. They're not going to rip like those little, what are the shirts that are always tearing on you?
Little tank tops.
Those little tank tops
from Forever 21. But I have like an issue where I get these little holes at the bottom of my shirt, and I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's my washer. I feel like there's like this like little animal that's eating my shirts. I don't know. But it doesn't happen to your shirt, so I don't know what I do. It must be me.
Maybe you rub on.
I think counter. I do notice that if I'm doing dishes or if I'm standing at the counter in the kitchen talking or whatever, I tend to kind of lean in a lot, and I'm thinking maybe it's how it rubs on if I'm wearing jeans, or if I don't. That's the only thing I can think of, because I just don't get it. And it's not just those tank tops. I've gotten a shirt from Old Navy, and it's happened. Granted, they're kind of
that
a little.
Could be another topic for another.
They're also
day.
a little thin. So I probably go cheap on my clothes, because I don't really buy high quality clothes for myself.
Well, you don't buy bad clothes. It's just. Well, you know what? Those shirts from the Gap, they're like $5 or $6. They're like just T-shirts or the V-necks. Those are like.
No, that's not the Gap. Cheap. That was H&M.
H&M, no.
Those were from
those are
or Old Navy.
Old Navy.
So Old those Navy are pretty good. The guys,
they're comfy.
The guys' shirts, yeah.
They're really comfortable, and you can get them for $5 or $6, right?
10.
No, you can get them for $5 or $6.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, Let's
Again,
Google.
waiting for a sale.
Well, probably when they're on sale, you can get some good. Yeah, they have some good sales.
I want to say that there was even like a $3 sale once.
No.
Or maybe it was like buy one at 10 and one for 3. About to research this. But anyways, yeah, there's certain things that yeah, this is actually a good question because I'm pretty big on saving, but again, it's not about being, well, I guess just buy less and buy better.
Yeah. So I don't go cheap on
get
toilet
to
paper. I don't go cheap on the fruits and veggies that we eat. I do try to buy organic. And I don't buy things that I really don't need at the grocery store. So things that you would just pile up, like junk food and stuff like that. I rather not buy that, which we shouldn't eat anyways, and spend it on the stuff that we are going to eat and that's healthier for you. So things like that, for me at least, I don't go cheap on. I still look for a sale. I still look for the best price. But
I have something I go cheap on.
This is what not to go cheap on, but what would you go cheap on?
I know, but I'm going to devil's advocate. Gas. A lot of people that I talk to say that if you get the premium unleaded, it lasts longer.
Oh.
But I've tried both.
And it's the same.
And it's the same. Well, I've never taken the exact same drive. Well, that's not true. That's not true when I was working in downtown. But it would last basically the same. So I'm like, hey, you know what? If I could save 20 cents per gallon or whatever it was.
Sorry to cut you off on your gas. I looked real quick at Old Navy. They're on sale for $7.50. We should get like an ad get paid for this ad.
No,
but
we gotta wait. We gotta wait until that $5 mark.
No, but that's still pretty cheap. So you were close. It's almost $5. But hey, for $7.99, those shirts do last a pretty decent amount of time. So
yeah, and they're comfortable.
Yeah.
And I've met people with a lot of money that have them.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
You can get the same shirt that looks almost exactly like the Old Navy and it'll have polo on it and you're going to pay double the price or more. So it just depends.
Lasts a while though. But
I've also gotten you polos like at Marshall's, which is way cheaper than if you go to a big store like Macy's or Bloomingdale's or something like that. You're going to pay a lot more.
All right. I think that wraps it up.
I think so.
Anything else to say? You want to send off a request for subscriptions and likes?
Yes. Please like our post, our video. Please subscribe below. And please comment if you have anything nice to say. If you don't, move on. Just kidding.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so they are on sale right now.